Where's that at?
I don't know.
See if Jamie could find it. Unbelievable, man. I'm super impressed.
Montreal, UFC 315, May 10th.
Wow.
It's the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Saturday, May 10th. Montreal, Canada, UFC 315. And I cannot believe what Joe Rogan just said. And I don't know if you guys are going to believe it either. I'm going to show it to you, and I'm going to show you so much more. And in fact, I'm going to show you something here that I think you guys are definitely going to want to see. So I'm going to try to make this quick, concise, to the point. Stick around until the end. I think you're going to be very, very pleased. And I look forward to reading your comments to let me know. Now, first, I do want to show you some of the ridiculous shenanigans that have been going on here recently with some folks that just haven't quite figured it out yet. They haven't gotten the memo. They are perhaps maybe completely gone off that Kool-Aid, drunk and exhibiting wild ass behavior that is more than likely going to not only get them fired, but could land them in some legal trouble, perhaps maybe even in jail. Plus, I've got an exclusive in regard to the new ratchet face and voice of the Democratic Party, perhaps maybe Jasmine Crockett, and better yet, how you can take a $40,000 annual, 40 grand a year salary and turn it into a $9 million fortune. Yeah, we need to talk about that. Or perhaps maybe better ways of accomplishing such goals, of building your net worth. And this one here from Charles R. Down says, I just left Capitol Police headquarters in D.C. where I filed a police report against Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett for assault, battery, and attempted theft of my cell phone simply because I respectfully asked her to condemn the violence that she's been inciting at Tesla showrooms. Now, I would normally show you what I'm talking about here, but odds are you've probably already seen it by now, and it wouldn't be hard for you to search up Jasmine Crockett, and more than likely the first things that would pop up in your feed as search results would be that, okay? But more so importantly, the last few times YouTube has they have a very effective way of communicating and telling me that, you shouldn't do that. And yeah, I know, I read the comments. People will say, well, so-and-so showed it. I saw it on this video. Yeah, and you may have. And odds are they probably got the same message that I got. And it's no bueno. So yeah, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to keep this party going here as long as we possibly can. And Riley Gaines, amazing, okay? Just beautiful what she has to say here, which, quick show of hands, how many of you guys agree with this statement? If Jasmine Crockett continues to be the mouthpiece of the Democratic Party, Republicans may never lose another election. And that's great news for Republicans, great news for Trump, great news for MAGA, JD Vance, and we don't know who his VP will be, but, or at least his running mate. I'd be willing to bet it probably won't be Pete Hegseth, but we'll talk about that in another video. As well as later on, I'm going to show you something that you're not going to want to miss from our fearless leader, Commander-in-Chief, 47 himself, the GOAT, President Donald J. Trump, in an epic move that he made that I think everyone's going to be excited about. A promise made, a promise kept, from the campaign trail to the resolute desk of the Oval Office. And I got to admit, I think even some of the Democrats are going to be like, that's pretty freaking good. Like, I don't like the guy. I didn't vote for him, but it's pretty freaking good. So that's coming. Stay tuned, stick around, and just do me a favor. If you like the video, like the video. If you haven't subscribed or aren't subscribed already, subscribe. Really would appreciate it. First up, I want you guys to see this. This is yet another example, another reason proof positive that the Democrats are going to make it so easy for Republicans to never lose ever again. And this is Jamal Bowman, which, by the way, we talked about legal troubles and Jasmine Crockett. You know how the Democrats like to play. Maybe the two of them could share a jail cell together. They don't mind commingling genders there. And this one says, holy shit, Democrats were planning to pass a $10 trillion climate bill. And I don't know who the other woman is in this interview, but Jamal Bowman obviously is already in trouble. More so than when he was primaried out. But Elon Musk is going to sue him. So, or at least that's what Elon said on one of his posts on X. He says, the lawsuit cometh, lawsuit on its way, or lawsuit en route. Or I tell you right now, the last person I want to be sued by would be Elon Musk. Because I'd be willing to bet that there's no settling with Elon Musk. Like, there's some people out there, like, they would settle a lawsuit because some money is better than no money. But Elon, it's the world's richest man. He's the world's richest man, regardless, despite no matter what happens or is happening with Tesla. Okay. Granted, a large percentage of his wealth is tied to Tesla, but the variations and fluctuations and swings in Tesla stock price is rather normal and typical. It's just being over exaggerated and hyped up by the media and the left. So I don't think it's going to have any impact, any effect whatsoever in the long term. But we've talked about Tesla, and we'll talk about Tesla some more. I'll show you guys where I stand currently with my Tesla stock purchase and my gains and or losses. But speaking of losses, the Democrats here in this $10 trillion climate change bill that thankfully we dodged a bullet. But I want you guys to take a look at this.
That there were going to be two separate bills, and we had already had those conversations. But when it was clear, remember, the investment kept going down, down, down. And we were like, no, because we need this investment. We need, like you said, the money. That was more money for lead pipes than what we had. I think
it was 3.9 trillion. Did it start at 3.9 and go down, or did it?
We were at, I thought we were at 10, and then it went down to 6, and then down to 3, then it went down to 1.7, I believe.
And just so I know that I'm giving you guys the most accurate and correct information, and you know the full story here, Jamal Bowman was discussing the Build Back Better Act in a podcast interview with that young lady where they discussed the investment amount that was described as dropping from a high of nearly $10 trillion to just under a little under $2 trillion, 1.97 or something like 1.7. Now, let me just share with you the reasoning behind this, or at least the attempted reasoning that they tried to present to America or to Congress, because they really, once the vote gets past us and they're elected and seated, it's on them, okay? So the Build Back Better Act was a major legislative proposal under President Joe Biden's administration, initially envisioned as a sweeping social and climate spending package. Early discussions within the Democratic Party, particularly among progressives like Jamal Bowman, former squad member Jamal Bowman, loudmouth fire alarm puller Jamal Bowman, included ambitious proposals with significantly higher investment figures, sometimes speculated to reach up to $10 trillion over a decade when factoring in the broadest visions of infrastructure, climate action, and social programs. However, due to political negotiations, especially with supposedly moderate Democrats like Senator Joe Manchin, the package was repeatedly scaled back, thankfully. Otherwise, we would have been footing the bill. By late 2021, the House passed a version of the Build Back Better Act valued at approximately $1.75 trillion to $2 trillion over 10 years, with a significant climate component of around $555 billion. And this reduction reflects the kind of drastic drop that we should be expecting regardless, now that DOGE is in effect. From a theoretical high of $10 trillion, likely an aspirational figure floated in early talks or progressive rhetoric, to just under $2 trillion in the final House passed bill. But they're going to keep trying to push. They're going to keep trying to push these things through, and we got to keep chopping them down. You remember the original CR that was like 1,700 pages got chopped down to like 100 or something. Like unnecessary bloat, waste, and abuse, as we know that money wasn't going to go towards any of the projects, regardless of how long of a time frame, whether it be 10 years, a decade, or honestly, they would probably prefer to be longer, because the longer it goes, the less likely people are to remember what's happened and what's going on and where that money is supposed to be going, benefiting these Democrats, okay? How much money did they devote to bringing internet to rural America? They brought none. How many billions of dollars did they devote to creating an electrical grid and infrastructure to charge the EV mandate push by Joe Biden? Like 8 charging stations. Billions of dollars, folks. Yeah, we dodged the bullet, didn't we? Thank God. So it says here that Jamal Bowman, a vocal advocate for bold climate action, was deeply involved in pushing for robust climate investments during this period, and his legislative efforts, such as the Green New Deal for public schools, valued at $1.43 trillion over 10 years, were part of the broader progressive push to integrate substantial climate funding into reconciliation packages like Build Back Better. But whenever they affix the term climate to anything, you should automatically know what they mean by that. And at the end of the day, the Democrats, the Joe Biden administration, potentially Kamala Harris, this push for climate change initiatives and throwing money at this problem that no one can really put their finger on, yeah, it's a bad investment. Now, I'm definitely far more interested in what President Trump had to say about Venezuela here recently, specifically in regard to energy and oil and gas and tariffs. Of course, the more that we produce in America, the more that's made in America, the better for America. And now would be no better time than ever to share with you Jericho Energy Ventures, because Jericho Energy Ventures has an oil and gas operation in Oklahoma. That's their core business. And they also have a hydrogen division with strong growth potential. I mean, outside of synthetic fuel, hydrogen is definitely a huge talking point from automotive manufacturers as a way to power vehicles, besides having to plug them into a wall socket for hours at a time. And Jericho Energy Ventures has announced their hydrogen spinout, likely coming this summer at the next AGM, June, July sometime. I know I'll be paying attention to their annual general meeting, and I would say you guys should do the same. At least check them out, do your homework, do your research, or at the very least, just come back here and I'll give you guys all the updates, all the details. Jericho Energy Ventures, TSXV, JEV, the TSX Venture Exchange. You can find Jericho Energy Ventures under the symbol JEV. And on the OTCQB, JROOF, JROOF. And Jericho Energy Ventures is the sponsor of this video. And this here is actually pretty amazing, because shareholders at the AGM will receive shares in both companies, okay? Which means it creates double exposure to energy markets, okay? Oil and gas and hydrogen. But the best part about it all is that it unlocks hidden value, considering that the market isn't valuing the hydrogen business properly. And as an investor, I would expect to see strong growth in oil and gas from a few key areas, mainly in North America, especially the US, shale regions like the Permian Basin. Companies are boosting spending on quick return projects, aided by pro-drilling stance from the new Trump administration. Latin America, particularly Brazil and Guyana, is also seeing big growth in deep water oil projects. LNG is another bright spot. with rising demand in Europe and Asia driving U.S. exports. And then in the Middle East, oil giants like Saudi Aramco are investing heavily in both oil and gas. Now would probably be a really good time to show you this clip of President Trump and what he said when he first took office in January about bringing investment to this country and making it a whole lot easier to engage in the infrastructure and building of producing energy right here in America. Watch.
We have powers that haven't really been used in terms of environmental. If you invest over $1 billion in the United States, we're going to give expedited reviews to everybody because everyone's afraid they're going to come in and get caught in the quagmire, which is very prevalent in the United States, unfortunately, the quagmire of environmental and various other regulations and rules. And I made it a point of telling people, if you invest $1 billion or more, and we'll do this for people with far less too, but we guarantee it. We're going to move them quickly through the environmental process. Sometimes people held up 12, 13, 14, 15 years. I saw it with plants in Louisiana where I got it approved in literally a week.
So expect a series of positive news releases on hydrogen soon, while oil and gas business remains the main focus, benefiting from U.S. domestic energy policies and the ex-nay 86 on Joe Biden's EV mandate push. And besides President Trump helping to make America great again, we've got Ed Breen, who's a chairman of DuPont.
But I'm like, I actually really like the job. I love being a CEO of a company, working with teams, solving problems, fixing things. I really enjoy it.
Known for creating shareholder value through spinoffs, and Jericho's upcoming spinout is right out of Ed's playbook. Strauss Zelnick, media mogul from Take-Two Interactive.
When video game developer Take-Two Interactive posted fiscal second quarter results last week, CEO Strauss Zelnick said his company is exceedingly well positioned for the long term and reminded shareholders that Grand Theft Auto 6 coming next fall, though no specific release date yet for the highly anticipated title. Strauss Zelnick joins us now, and it's good to see you, as it always is. And Benjamin Bratt, the reverse aging guy that we watch it with you whenever you come in here, but we're not envious or anything. You stress we're an entertainment company, not a politics company. Then you go on in 6 different ways to say this is going to be good because the FTC was just too heavy-handed. Is that fair to say?
I think it is fair to say. Maybe not heavy-handed. I think misguided, frankly.
Misguided, yeah.
The FTC pursued a number of cases which failed. And that's not the goal of our regulatory system.
Having inherited his Jericho stake from Sam Belsberg and Mike Graves, oil and gas veteran who sold his family business for over $500 million. That's a lot of money. And this may be exactly what I know a lot of folks are wanting to hear, which is Republican politician bets big on this hidden penny stock, especially after having had discussions we've talked about the likes of Elon Musk and Warren Buffett. But this right here, the reason why will absolutely shock you. Quick show of hands, how many of you are interested in this big bet on this hidden penny stock? And another of the powerful shareholders involved with Jericho Energy Ventures that may ring a bell, Andrew McKenna, influential Washington lobbyist connected to Live Golf and the Trump administration, was a top contender to head the Air Force and is clearly a strong supporter and important to the current administration. He has purchased 32 million shares of Jericho Energy. That's huge. And not just from the volume, but from the significance of his role in data centers and energy, okay? Now, this is something that we oftentimes we talk about and we hear about with the likes of Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, and his bread and butter, I believe, he likes to invest heavily in data centers. Well, there's good reason for it. It's called the data center gold rush, the next big investment play. maybe, some may say. But what data centers need to run is energy. And what President Trump has in store and has planned, well, I can't think of a better place to run a data center than right here in the good old US of A. Can you? But besides those investors, perhaps maybe a better conversation to have would be, or an answer to a question is, why investors should pay attention. Mainly the unique opportunity to own shares in both a growing oil and gas company and a high potential hydrogen company. Plus, as we just mentioned, a strong shareholder backing and strategic positioning in the US market already in Oklahoma, and the cherry on top. And you add on top of that all the multiple news releases that are to come ahead, then yeah, it's a no-brainer.
And I'm thrilled to announce today that DMAC will be investing at least $20 billion over a very short period of time into the United States, and they may go double or even somewhat more than double that amount of money. It's a great thing, and I believe he will say that he's doing it because of the fact that he was very inspired by the election. They wouldn't do it without that election, I can tell you. A lot of people wouldn't. You saw last week where we have somebody who's going to go from $100 to $200 billion, and we have many other people, and we'll be bringing some of them out. Some of them like to do it somewhat more quietly, and some don't, and they feel so strongly about the country that they want to let people know about it. But it's an honor to have such a great investor investing in our country. The investment will support massive new data centers across the Midwest, the Sun Belt area, and also to keep America on the cutting edge of technology and artificial intelligence. He's very big into the data centers, and that's going to be a very hot item in the coming years, as you know, with AI. In particular, the first phase of the project will be in Texas, Arizona, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, and Indiana, those places.
And it's the next big investment play that's got everybody buzzing. It's got everyone buzzing. Data centers are the backbone of our digital world, powering AI, cloud computing, and more. And the demand for them is absolutely exploding. And it's $1 trillion opportunity. But here's the thing. Building them fast and cheap is key, okay? That's where Jericho Energy Ventures comes in. Their low-cost, quick-to-market model is a game changer, and they're using the U.S.'s massive natural gas resources for a fully made-in-America solution. And this isn't just a smart move, it's an investment thesis that could literally be a game changer. So why are all the big players so excited? Billionaires like Elon Musk, giants like BlackRock, and even sovereign wealth funds are pouring billions of dollars into data infrastructure. They know it's the future. But the smartest ones are going green to future-proof their bets, because data centers need crazy amounts of energy. That's where Jericho Energy Ventures stands out. This ground floor penny stock trading under $1 is backed by big names like Andrew McKenna and Ed Breen, plus politicians who see the vision. And it's your chance to get in early on something huge. But don't take my word for it. Feel free, do your own homework research, and I'll even drop some links down below in the description to simplify it for you.
It is critical we stop and think about how we can decarbonize our daily heat and steam needs. Global heating and steam used in producing electricity, industrial steam, commercial space heating, and hot water account for over 20% of global greenhouse gas emissions. The burning of coal, natural gas, and fuel oil for heat and steam are a part of everyday life and are contributing to ever-rising emissions, and the problem is getting worse. For example, a typical coal-fired boiler creates approximately 23,000 tons of CO2 emission per year. Compare that to a typical car, which emits about 4.6 tons of CO2 per year. So one coal-fired boiler is equivalent to 5,000 cars per year. To meet our global net zero emissions targets, we must shift away from fossil fuels to using clean steam for both heat and industrial processes. Imagine a world without carbon emissions produced from everyday heat and steam. It's happening right now at Jericho Energy Ventures. I invite you to visit our website and learn more about Clean H to Steam.
Now, let's talk about the trillion-dollar AI investment war, okay? The US and China and Europe are battling it out to dominate AI, and data centers are ground zero. For the US, this is about more than just tech. It's geopolitics, okay? Domestic energy is our edge, and Jericho Energy Ventures is right in the mix. With a focus on clean energy like hydrogen, they're not just building data centers, they're powering the future. Low cost, fast deployment, and a sustainable advantage make this stock a no-brainer. But there's a catch, right? There's always a catch. And AI's energy demands are so wild, some experts warn of blackouts and shortages if governments can't keep up with the demand. The AI power crisis is looming, and I got to tell you guys, I even saw this one today on TikTok, and my mind was freaking blown.
Teach my kids about AI?
If you're not teaching your kids about AI, you're literally handicapping their future.
Smart companies aren't waiting around though. Jericho Energy Ventures is already ahead using hydrogen, a clean, cutting-edge fuel to solve the problem. And this isn't just about dodging a crisis, it's about leading the next energy revolution. And finally, the US-China AI race is supercharging data centers like never before. National security is at stake. Think military tech and economic power. The US is expanding its data infrastructure fast, and alternative energy like hydrogen is our secret weapon to stay competitive. And Jericho Energy Ventures is the rising star here, an under $1 stock. Remember, JEV on the TSX Venture Exchange and JROOF or JROOF on the OTCQB. An under $1 stock ready to use domestic resources to power tomorrow's data centers. And this is the chance to jump on a clean energy play before it takes off. And so there you have it. The data center gold rush is here, and Jericho Energy Ventures is the ticket in. Billionaires are betting big already. Nations are racing fast, and the energy crisis needs solutions. You know me, I'm all about solutions, right? This penny stock could be the sleeper hit of the year, but I want to know what you guys think. Are you ready to check it out? Let me know down in the comments. And thanks to Jericho Energy Ventures for sponsoring today's video.
Where's that at?
I don't know.
See if Jamie could find it. Unbelievable, man. I'm super impressed.
Montreal, UFC 315, May 10th.
Wow.
Now, there's a lot going on, which is an understatement in regard to Canada. And we talked about this a little bit the other day and previous videos about the upcoming election and what this could mean, let alone the fact that Canada could become the 51st state. Be that as it may, that would potentially change Joe Rogan's opinion here on whether or not he would travel abroad, or at least north of the border to our neighbors to the north. And what he has to say here about UFC 315 in Montreal in May, I was not expecting. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Check out this clip.
Where's that at?
I don't know.
See if Jamie could find it. Unbelievable, man. I'm super impressed.
Montreal, UFC 315, May 10th.
Wow. I won't be there.
months.
I don't go to Canada anymore. I don't.
No, nor should you. No, discipline.
Yeah, I'd rather go to Russia.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, hell yeah.
When they become the U.S., you never know.
That's never going to happen. That's so crazy to ask them to be the 51st state. I had a conversation with Trump about it. He goes, I started calling him Governor Trudeau just for fun, and a lot of people are saying it's a good idea. Like, maybe it is a good idea.
A lot of people say it.
Look at this fucking squeeze, man.
Now, I know that it's been encouraged for Canadians not to travel or at least engage in commerce with America, but if you flip it the other way around and folks quit going to Canada or quit buying from Canada, then I don't know. It seems like you're shooting yourself in the foot there. Speaking of shooting yourself in the foot, Jasmine Crockett continues to do just that each and every time she opens her mouth, it seems. Now, this one here is, you guys, let me know in the comments. Do you watch Officer Tatum? Are you subscribed to Officer Tatum? Because he brought this to my attention, and this is almost as bad, if not worse, than Nancy Pelosi and her insider trading situation and her deals. But it's just like, we need Elon. We need Trump for sure. We need Doge. We need to get to the bottom of this because the math is just not mathing. And these folks are screaming at the top of their lungs, getting crazy with their antics and their aggression and their violent, divisive rhetoric. And you tell me how you go from $40K a year to $9 million in net worth with just 3 stocks.
All right, let's go to Jasmine Crockett real quick, who's a complete mindless woman. One thing you can't be is ghetto and mindless. If you're going to be ghetto, you got to be smart. And this is specifically, because I'm going to go through this before we play the clip. This is specifically to Jeremy that sent me a inbox. And you know I'm talking about you. You gave all that rant and riffing and raving. She's smart. She went to a university. She got her own law firm. She got her own law firm. Let's talk about some numbers. Let's talk about some financial disclosures. Now, her law firm, Crockett Law Firm PLLC, filed $26,000 of earnings and $14,000 of earnings the year before. What kind of law firm are you running that you made $26,000? For those of you who know anything about lawyers, and family law is probably the worst, and I don't know what law she's practicing, but I don't even want to tell you how much I paid. I paid almost $100,000. I'm still mad. In a custody case that I had, where there was no dispute other than money. Some people go all out for money. They want money. Almost $100,000. That's just me. And I don't know how much she paid. So that's 2 people that paid well over $100,000. Ma'am, you don't have 2 clients that you represent in anything? $26,000 is I don't know what to call that.
I guess the better question would be, would you hire Jasmine Crockett as your attorney, as your lawyer? Does she instill confidence in you to think that, you know what, she's the right choice for the job? She's going to advocate for me and make sure that my case is important and that I get what I want out of it. Or it's probably laundering a little bit of money through that thing. She definitely ain't got a real practice that's bringing in any real business. But the real question is, before I play this video, is that where does she get her money from? I want to put this in context before y'all hear this fool talk about Elon Musk and crooked stuff and all that. How did you make your money for real, Miss Crockett? Because last time I checked, your salary is $174,000 as a House of Representative, which is the standard salary. It's estimated her net worth is $9 million from real estate and stock investments. And what is her stock investment portfolio? Because we got the financial disclosure right here. Wow. Dude, at $9 million, at a $9 million net worth valuation, there ain't no reason for her to be behaving this way. Not at all. And think about it. Think about it like this. If she managed to get to that point behaving the way that she was, then why would she change to be so ratchet now? Now, granted, I mean, she didn't just become ratchet overnight, but I highly doubt that she picked up $9 million overnight. I'd be willing to bet that her net worth goes down moving forward, but time will tell. Wishful thinking.
What is her investments in? An energy company, MGM Resort, and Moderna. How did she somehow become so successful in this? Somebody say insider trading. I would argue that she's probably doing a heck of a lot of insider trading, if you ask me. You look at her state income tax, or state salary, she filed $2,400, and the year before that, $55,000. She ain't making no money in any other earnings that we know of other than being a House of Representative, but then somehow she worth $8 million from stocks. And you go look at all of these House of Representatives, look at all of these people in Congress that are worth exponentially more money than when they started. What do they all got? Investment in day trading, not day trading, but putting stuff in the market, probably insider trading. All right, let's listen to what this, don't say it, Brandon. Don't talk about people because you're supposed to be a Christian. Representative Crockett, let's roll what she had to say. Roll.
As it relates to X, he has never made a profit since he bought X. In fact,
well, The richest man in the world doesn't actually need to make a profit, Miss Crockett. But think about it, though. Think about what Officer Tatum said there, especially from the standpoint of how irate the Democrats became when the stock market took a dip that they wanted to use against President Trump and Elon Musk for causing the dip, but they were also caught up in it because they weren't expecting it, and it was negatively impacting and affecting more than likely their trading, insider trading. But like I told you guys earlier, I had the best clip that I wanted to share with you of just more highlights of Trump winning. Put another dollar in the Donald Trump won again jar, another dollar in the Donald Trump was right jar, another dollar in the Donald Trump is going to increase my take-home pay jar, which, like I said, the Democrats, regardless of what they say and pretend to act like and be like in public and on TV, at the end of the day, what Trump's doing is to their benefit as well, and they can't deny it, okay? There's no way that they would turn it down either, especially when you think about folks like Jasmine Crockett, because you got to think, well, if you're making that kind of money, if you're building that kind of wealth, if your portfolio is increasing, if your insider stock trading is doing so great, you're going to have to pay tax on those gains, right? Well, Jim Ferguson says that Trump cancels tax on all overtime effective Monday. Which Monday? Well, I don't know if it's this Monday, but it says here that if you work overtime in the U.S., you will no longer be taxed on it. President Trump is putting working Americans first, rewarding effort and not punishing it. Hard work is being respected again.
I'm also announcing that as part of our additional tax cuts, we will end all taxes on overtime. You know what that means? Think of that. Think of that. Think of that. That gives people more of an incentive to work. It gives the companies it's a lot easier to get the people. And, you know, I went to some economists, great ones, and I said, what do you think? They said, it would be unbelievable. You'll get a whole new workforce by doing that. No taxes on overtime.
How many of you folks work overtime? And of those who do, would prefer no taxes on that time and a half pay? Let me know in the comment section.
The people who work overtime are among the hardest working citizens in our country. And for too long, no one in Washington has been looking out for them. Those are the people that really work. They're police officers, nurses, factory workers, construction workers, truck drivers, and machine operators. It's time for the working man and woman to finally catch a break, and that's what we're doing because this is a good one. And I think it's going to be great for the country.
It's what we voted for, right?
So that's why we will be saying that if you're an overtime worker when you're past 40 hours a week, think of that. Your overtime hours will be tax-free. Okay? Good? You're going to have it too. And unlike Biden, where he tells you that you don't have to pay your school tuition and he gets rejected, then he goes again and again. Now it's totally gone. Or as they say in politics, it's debunked. It's gone. That was terrible. You know, he kept saying to these students, no more loans, which was very unfair to the millions of people that actually paid off their loans over the years. Some of them took 20 years to pay them off. But that's a dead deal. That's totally dead. You know, they tried to revive it 2 weeks ago. That didn't work out too well. That's a totally dead deal. But these will be 3 things that will get done. So if you think about no tax on tips, think of that. Think about this. And the Social Security for our seniors, because the seniors have been destroyed by inflation. It's unfair.
And I hope that seniors are really paying attention to this. Outside of no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, but no tax on Social Security, which is a reoccurring question that I get asked often about the cuts and safety and protection of Social Security, which I don't think that the president would turn his back on seniors and Social Security, and especially if he were to do so, eliminate taxes on them. You see what I'm saying?
And this is like a whole new life for them because you're talking about a lot of money. So no tax on Social Securities for our great seniors. And this last one is no tax. You work your ass off. No tax on overtime. And that's so good for the employers. One of our economists said, I think that's actually going to bring money into our economy. You know, when I cut taxes, we had the largest tax cut in history. And when I cut taxes with a much lower rate the following year, we took in more money than we ever took in with a much higher rate. People, the jobs, people work by a lot.
And so, like I said, a great ending on a high note with some amazing and fantastic news from our fearless leader, Commander-in-Chief 47 DJT, the GOAT, President Trump. Make America great again. I hope you guys got a lot out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you hit that like button, and I hope that you leave a comment. I can't wait to read them all. Subscribe if you haven't already. Even if you did, make sure you still are. You know, YouTube likes to play their games. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.